No JQ, no Max. Who's going to be my co-host today? We shall see. We shall see. With that said, let's hit that intro. Let's get talking about RC. We got quite a lot to talk about this week, but mostly it's going to be about the 2010 IFMAR World Championships with Matty G when he shows up. But I have to do some RC news and all that stuff first. So let's just hit that intro.
Nitro is the glory, but e-buggy pays the bills. Welcome to the No Name RC podcast. Get ready for some serious bench racing. But be warned, we speak our minds, express our thoughts, and sometimes things can get a little rowdy.
Hate, and he just was influenced by the hate coming from the left, the hate coming from the right.
And let's get back to more club racing and less of this grabbing racing.
It's hard not to be arrogant when you're always right. You know?
See what I mean? That's exactly why people call you arrogant, Max.
You may not agree with everything we say, but it's definitely worth a listen.
And our pick, can you stop whatever you're doing?
Join your host, Lefty the Great, with co-hosts and guests as they get together to chat RC.
Hey, after that race that I watched this morning, I have to talk about it.
Here we go. $100 right here, $100 throw. Oh no! I like this.
Yes, indeed. Nitro is the glory, but e-buggy pays the bills. What's going on, everybody? Welcome to episode number 256 of the No Name RC podcast. I'm your host, Keena White, aka Lefty the Great, and I'm back after a 2-week hiatus, I would say, more or less. Yeah. You know, guys, I had to do a couple of races. I was off doing the H2GP as well as the Georgia Peach State Classic. I will touch on them briefly, but I'm going to probably do a whole podcast recap with them. Not a recap, but a chat with them next week when Max gets on her. And also I might have another Max who's actually in charge of the H2 Horizon Educational Program that put on the H2GP to talk about it. But with that said, this week, the podcast is all about the 2023 110 scale IFMAR Off-Road World Championships that happened as well last week. Matty G, aka the Spleenless Wonder, will be joining me later on to talk about that. But we have to do some shout outs and all that good stuff and talk about some quick RC news. With that said, I'd like to say thank you to all of the NNRC squad around the world. Thank you for all the support. We can't do this without you. It's great to meet and meet new people who are supporters of the show. Actually, I met some at the H2GP, and I met some more at the Peach State Classic. So thank you to everybody that shows the podcast some love, shows me some love. We cannot do this without your support. Thank you very much. Also, big shout out to the patrons and new NNRC YouTube members. You guys go the extra mile helping to support this podcast financially as well. That really helps me out. I greatly appreciate it. If you wish to support this podcast, you like what we're doing, there's links for that in the written description of the podcast. I greatly appreciate it. Every little bit helps. Also, thank you to these awesome companies. And I have to say, if you are a company interested in advertising on this platform in 2024, please hit me up. Also, we're doing race promotions as well. We have rates for that as well. You want to promote your race? Come hit me up as well. But with that said, I'd like to say thank you to all these sponsors. Remember, everybody, there are affiliate links, coupon codes, and links to all of these sponsors and ad companies in the written description of this podcast. Some don't have any coupon codes or affiliate links. So if you can just say, hey, I heard about you on the No Name RC podcast, it helps me out quite a lot. It helps the podcast out. They are invisiblespeed.net, High Tech RC, Sun Pedal USA, Sidewinder Fuel, Hot Race Tires, Mayako, Beach RC, Techno RC, Lugs Racing Tires, Clinic RC, Ignite Design RC, Stacked RC, Donathan RC, RaceCraft USA. Shout out to the Florida RC Championships, WRC, Danny Paz. Shout out to my boy Gene Strout doing builds as well. Check him out at SJ Racing. Also, shout out to House of RC, RCGP, and shout out to our drivers, David Runafalk, Jared Tebow, Robert Battier, Alexander HagBerg, and the Spleenless Wonder, who will be with us later. Matty G. Thank you guys for all your help. We greatly appreciate that. Remember, everybody, showing these companies some love, therefore shows the podcast love, and we greatly appreciate it. All right, real quick, some shout outs that I noticed real quick. I wanted to say shout out to the Dog Days RC. They have some more online raffles going on at this moment, I believe. And I was looking at one. So they have the online charity. It's up. One of them was up for auction. It's a Co-Ogden e-buggy wheel display case. So what they're doing is putting these items in a really nice display case. You can go to Dogs Day RC. Actually, I'll leave a link for them in Facebook link for them in the written description. Also, the wheels are mounted inside a shadow box packed with a photo of Co-Ogden. I'm looking at it right now. It looks very cool. Maybe we should put it up here. Let's see. Put it up here for a sec. Okay, let me put it up for a second. There we go. There you see the Co-Ogden wheels. That's actually a pretty cool display. You can go to Dogs Day RC and bid on this. I believe all proceeds will go to St. Jude's Hospital. I was just reading. Let's have a look at that. Yes, so all proceeds go to the St. Jude's Hospital, and it's for a good cause, right? So get your hands on this unique piece of memorabilia, and that was donated to help raise money for the St. Jude's Research Hospital West Central Pennsylvania Connection. The money raised from this auction will go towards overall donation raised from the SummerSlam series held at Shippensburg RC. So not only are they doing a online auctions, they have various different items. They're also doing some races where the donation will go through as well. You can go to Dogs Day RC. Starting bid is $50. Bid in whole dollar increments only, and try to raise some money for the St. Jude Hospital. It's for a great cause. So come on, RC people, let's help that out. Also, shout out. I met these guys at I met Iceberg and then Chuckberg, and he brought down a whole bunch of Michigan guys. No Pro RC. So he reached out to me. I went out and checked out his YouTube channel. It's pretty cool. Them guys go really in deep. Man, I will say that those Michigan guys' cars were on point at Georgia Peach State Classic. So go check him out. Also, check out my boy Roach RC, dropping some great content as well. Always. I think I'll see him at Masters of Dirt next month. We'll see. But go check them out. And I also want to say shout out to my boy Justin Newby from Florida. He got this jersey done for me. He's been doing these jerseys. It's pretty cool. It's actually very light material, too. I thought it was going to be kind of heavy. Very light, very breathable. He made this for me. Big No Name RC podcast on there. Got some microphones on the side. On the back, it's also a No Name podcast. It's really comfortable. It's probably a little bit too big. I'm probably going to have to get it hemmed a little bit, but this was great. This is a 4X. I'm a big boy, so it worked out pretty good. Thank you, Justin Newby. I finally got that. I greatly appreciate that. Also, I just wanted to say shout out to everybody out there who attended the Georgia Peach State Classic. Also, these races that I've been going to, for all your support. It's been awesome. Being at the Peach State Classic, a lot of people came up. I was giving out a lot of decals. I have some more decals at the Florida RC Championships if I go. I'm waiting on weather to see if I go, but I should be there if it's not raining. I really appreciate it. Obviously, none of this is possible without you guys helping out and supporting. I greatly appreciate it. You make the No Name RC podcast what it is. And then my ability to get to these races also comes from you guys. So I greatly appreciate that as well. And it gives me a chance to say hello and say goodbye. And my thanks is kind of trying to give you guys some decals. I know, unfortunately, once I get in the booth or behind the mic to call the races, it's very hard to get out from that. So I don't get to go around and socialize as much as I used to, say, when I was just there doing my own stuff. So I do apologize for that. But I'm kind of there to do that job. And I can't, once you get in the booth, it's kind of focused on that. But the last two races, I've been outside. So people have been able to come by, say hello. And I really enjoy that. Even that small little interaction that we have. And I look forward to seeing everybody continuously at these races that I go to. And just wanted to let you guys know that I'm forever thankful. And without you guys, none of this is possible. So thank you. So go check out No Pro RC. Go check out Roach RC if you haven't already checked them out. Don't forget your boy Chasing Trophies as well. He's got a good channel. So I'm always trying to show a little bit of love to some YouTube people or anybody who I think is doing good content out there. Also, if you haven't already, I want to prompt, go check out the NNRC Instagram and TikTok. Those are growing. I just surpassed 10K on TikTok. I'm super pumped about that. And I'm on the road to 10K for Instagram, to be honest. All off a reel. all for real. I don't buy anything. It's all organic, like reels and all that type of stuff. So it's been impressive over the last few months to see the Instagram grow as well as the TikTok of some reels. So thank you everybody for support. And it's also new people, right? There's also a lot of people just coming by these reels and looking at them and taking them into notice. So with that said, I think I will go on to the Invisible Speed news. Happy birthday to everybody. There were so many birthdays out there as well. I couldn't see all of them. So happy birthday to everybody who had a birthday. I see some upcoming birthdays as well. I'll get back on that and say happy birthday to you all. But with that said, I think we should go into some Invisible Speed and High Tech news. The news is brought to you by Invisible Speed and High Tech RC. Thank you to High Tech RC for all their support. And let's go look at the Invisible Speed news, because you know what? The deal's still going on. You can get a 3-year course as well as a free book of the new 2.0 book that will be released later on this year, or in my opinion, probably early next year. I know JQ, but you do get 3 years of course for the price of one, which is great. And you get the book as well, pre-order for the book at invisiblesteed.net. You can find the affiliate link in the written description of this podcast. Please go there, hit it, helps us out.
Stop scrolling, you nerd. Learn something new with Invisible Speed.
Are you the driver of this car?
Yes, sir. Why?
You just won a free alignment.
I had my car touched by JQ, and now I don't feel safe.
I can say that he did improve his time 10 seconds and his best lap.
Last question. Would you recommend the Invisible Speed course?
Yeah, for sure. Spend your money. Good spend.
If you want to learn more and make your speed visible, stop scrolling.
Alrighty then. Don't forget to go hit up the invisiblespeed.net and order your course. Use the affiliate link in this podcast in the written description. It helps me out. You have the online course for the, I believe it counts for the ONROAD course as well as the regular course. And don't forget, you will get a free 2.0 book. That's actually pretty good. You got 3 years of the course plus a 2.0 book. That's a good value. Also, thank you to High Tech RC. I got to hang out with the president and a few other people from High Tech this last week in Las Vegas. They were there, a part of the H2GP. It was really cool. I got to, that we was talking RC, and High Tech is really getting involved in a lot of things. Ben, Mike, and Cole are actually at the pro line by the fire, which is going on this weekend. I wish I was there. I'm not going to lie. I really wish I was there. I'm going to get Axel Fast pro line by the fire. I'm going to get to next year. So I'm looking forward to that. High Tech has been a big supporter of the podcast. They continue to be a supporter. They sent me some gear. I got the new charger. I got some servers. I'm going to put all that up here next. I'm actually going to do an unboxing little video and stuff like that as well. So I'm super pumped about that. Thank you for High Tech for all the support. You guys want to help me out, go to High Tech, buy some of their stuff. If you're interested in getting involved in High Tech, reach out to some of the team managers, reach out to me. I'll put you in contact with them. But get using High Tech, and happy birthday to them. They're celebrating 50 years of being in the RC servo business, not just servo RC business, but industrial and everything else. You want to learn more about High Tech? Go check out the Mike Mayberry podcast that I did a couple years ago. It's actually very good. I'll put the link for that in the written description on the card right here. All right. Also, news-wise, you know what's news? I'll tell you what's news. I was looking at my analytics, and a lot of you guys are not subscribed to the No Name RC podcast. Why is that? We're trying to reach 5,000 subs by the end of this year. Right now at 4,360 something. So if you haven't subbed for the NNRC yet, please go hit that sub button, that notification button. You can hit a like or dislike button, and leave a comment. It all helps us out in the algorithm as well. If you are listening to this on an audio only platform, and I know a lot of people just listen to this on the audio side, please go over to the YouTube. You'll get to see different things like video and all that stuff that we have as well. And it helps me out. But also, do not forget to leave a review on that audio platform that you're listening to the podcast. It's the only way we can grow. It's the only way we can get it on the algorithm. So please do me a favor. Help us out that way. It helps the podcast, helps everything. Please, I appreciate it. All right, next up in the news. So I know this happened a little bit before I left, but Atsushi Hara's buggy, that 2008 World Championship HB buggy, he wanted to get it back. So I don't know the full story. The great thing is, I've already talked to Ben and Zach and Atsushi Hara, and we are planning a podcast together. One where we're going to talk about the car, them getting the car back, as well as talking to Atsushi Hara and his history. We're just organized. It's going to be me, Ben, Zach, Zach, Ben, and I, as well as Atsushi Hara interviewing Atsushi. So Ben is actually going to take the car back to him. They have it. They're getting it here. So what happened is, apparently the car, when HPI got sold or something like that, the car went out in a lump. It must have been in the display, like on the shelf. And then when it got sold, it kind of, what's the word I'm looking for? It got dispersed out into the world, and it was on eBay. It was for sale. A gentleman got it, and then he was selling it for like $4,000 on eBay. So Hara really wanted to get his car back. Obviously, he's an RC driver. They don't make much money as you think they do. So he couldn't afford to pay $4,000 for his car that he should have had in his shelf anyway, in my opinion. So Zach and Ben started a GoFundMe. They worked the price down to like $2,900 for the car from the guy. They worked the price out. They raised the money with a GoFundMe. It actually sold out in like 4 hours. By the time I woke up, the GoFund had started and had been finished. So well done to Zach and Ben, my good friends down in Australia, the land of the thylacine, great white sharks, and everything else that can kill you. They set it up. They got it back to him. Mark Pavitas went over, picked it up, and now I think it's being shipped to Australia. Then Ben's he's going on a trip to Japan to see Hara, and then he's going to do it. And we're trying to work it out where we can have Ben, Hara, Nikar, Zach, and me, and we're going to do an awesome podcast. I was hoping to do it next week, but Ben doesn't go out to Japan for a while. So kudos to those guys for helping Hara get back his car. That's awesome. He should have had that car, in my opinion. And yeah, I'm ashamed that he had to go through all that, but great job. They raised the money for him to get it, and I thought that was very cool. And we will talk with them more on this very shortly. Also, I know you guys, a lot of people were talking about this yesterday because we saw this on the social medias, but we saw that Lewis Hamilton and Esteban Ocon were playing with some Kyoshes at the Japanese Grand Prix. Now, I believe we saw Yuichi Kanai do this last year. I think it was with, we've seen Kyosho is very close with the F1 side of things, and in the F1 things, we've seen this before, but it was pretty cool. They had some, I believe these are like Yuichi Kanai's cars, so they got hot race tires on them, Red's engines. So all the social media people were excited about this. They were driving them up and down the paddocks. I thought it was pretty cool. What I'd like to see is now if we can get one of these guys to a race. I know it's impossible. I know everybody, it's not that easy to do, but it's great to see them racing them and doing all this stuff. Let's see if we can get them to a race. So let's hear what Red RC has to say. Also, by the way, it's great to have Red RC back. So they say last year at the Japanese Grand Prix, we saw Lewis Hamilton at the controls of a Tamiya lunchbox. So he was driving a Tamiya lunchbox at the last one. And Esteban Ocon having some fun with a Kyosho buggy thanks to RC legend Yuichi Kanai. So this was last year. I've also seen him do some stuff with Fernando Alonso as well. And now the two F1 drivers teamed up at Suzuka this year for a bit of 1/8 scale nitro fun at the event. The Mercedes AMG Petronas F1 team shared photos and video on social media of the pair driving the two buggies up and down the pit lane, with both drivers clearly enjoying the experience before they get down to some more serious business of this weekend's Formula One Grand Prix, which starts tomorrow. Clearly, F1 drivers also need to be marshaled too. With a photo of one of the cars upside down, it also appears that Lewis shares something in common with our 1/8 scale and now 10 scale four-wheel drive champion Davide Ongaro in using a stick radio. So there you go. There's the pictures. Awesome. That's cool. We know that Lewis and his brother used to race RC. There's video of them doing that. How cool would it be to get them to a real cool race? I think it would be awesome. I think it's something we have to work towards. Yeah, I'm not going to lie. I'd love to interview Lewis Hamilton as well, or any of these Formula One guys, or anybody that does RC in that type of sense. I think it will be cool. So the more RC out there getting shown, the better it is. All righty then. So I wake up this morning because I'm recording this today. And silly season kind of started with the Viking David Ronnefalk leaving Mayako. Still up in the air where he's going. I'm hearing TLR. I'm still hearing TLR, X-Ray. Infinity's being thrown out a lot. S-Works. But something caught my eye was that he was sharing this and he was very buddy-buddy with Yuchi Kanai, even though I know the Viking is very buddy-buddy with Yuchi Kanai. But I also understand that the Viking does a lot of things to throw me off the scent and others off the scent. So there is a little speculation of rumor that he could be going back to Kyosho. We shall see. But still, rumors up in the air about where David is going. I wish him all the best. Obviously, he isn't going to tell me because he knows my mouth is too big. But we'll find out once it does, and hopefully we'll have him on here to talk about it. But the other big surprise was Madman Marco Barufalo. That's right, the madman from Italy. Silver State 2023 winner, by the way, I might add. Commanding win this past year. Has left Techno RC, or him and Techno RC have split differences. Now, the rumor is everybody thinks it's going to Mayako. In fact, I messaged Joseph and Robert this morning and asked them both if he's going to Mayako, and they both said no. But, JQ said it kind of too fast to be no. So who knows? But the rumor is that I heard, and then I asked Barufalo because he said he'll let people know as he goes to Buggyland next week what car he's going to run. He said he's going to pivot balls. So, I mean, that only makes it, drops it down to Associated, S-Works, WRC, Infinity, Sparko, X-Ray, I think, Mugen. So that only drops it down to about 7 cars. But I have strong, my sources tell me that it's WRC. That's what I heard. I've heard it from 2 different people now. I've heard it from one that absolutely would know, because they would know. And then the other one I heard from just they heard it. So it only makes sense that he goes to WRC. It's Italian-based company. They're looking for a driver. They did have Tresavan, and they still have, what's his name? Valente, but they don't have somebody of the level of Marco Barufalo. So if he is going to WRC, I wish him all the best. We'll see what he does with him, because you know what else is great news? We have Buggyland coming up. Oh, I forgot to talk about something else too. Hold on, let me reverse. So let's get into other news about races. So we saw that also this weekend was supposed to be the IFMAR World Cup for e-buggy. So how it works is IFMAR wants to have a e-buggy World Cup prior to having a Worlds. It's how everything's done. I think it's dumb. I understand that it's also to make sure that the tracks are prepared and can handle it. But I also know that the track that's going to hold the e-buggy routes in 2025 is the B-Buggy Arena. So it wasn't even going to be at this track, that they were having it in Portugal. No, I got the message last week that they weren't going to do it because of weather. I think it's a lot to do with weather and the low entry count, being as it was right after the World Championships. Ongaro had a race this weekend, and I actually think his race is suffering from bad weather too. I know Joseph and Robert are supposed to go to that race in Pecco, but they canceled because of weather. And then they have Buggyland right after that. So the World Cup is going to be canceled to next year. I heard some rumors. Well, I saw that they're trying to change it to the week after IBC. But even then, I think it's going to struggle because that is the weekend of PNB. So IBC is the weekend before, PNB is the next weekend, apparently. So not sure what's going to happen with that. I say forget having a freaking World Cup. Let's just get to the Worlds. Let's do it in 2025 or combine the 8-scale Worlds together. That's what I would do. But we shall see how that goes. Enough about IFMAR. I have enough rantings to make about them over the next few months anyway. Let's move on. Ongaro race is happening this weekend. I know they had rain. Not sure how that affected the entry count. I believe it's still going on. I could be wrong. It was going on when I last checked. So I do know the rain affected that. Then we have Buggyland next week, which is going to be great. I know Miguelo's doing a whole new layout. This is one of the big races in Europe where a lot of people attend. So I'm expecting a lot of people to go. I wish I was going. I know the saltiest of salt, Salty Joe, is making a trip from Bermuda to go there. So that's great. Good to see. And I'll be watching it. I believe RC Racing TV is doing the coverage. So it'd be great. We can able to follow that as well and see how things go for some of the best in Europe next weekend in Madrid, Spain. And we'll get to see Marco wheel his new pivot ball car, which could be an WRC. Like I said, that's It's almost 99.9% confirmed, but I've been wrong before. It could be all throwing me off the scent. Anyway, silly season's in full effect. We got races coming up. Also, next week, we have the Florida RC Championships Round 6 at Epic RC Raceway. That race sold out in 16 minutes. I might be there. I'm supposed to be there. We're kind of just playing it on air until we see how the weather is. Like if it's going to rain, it doesn't make sense me flying out there. But right now, it's a go. I'll have my ticket sometime next week. And of course, we have Masters of Dirt coming up, which I'll be attending as well later on in October. Okay. Ooh, I almost forgot. The Europeans are coming to AMS. That's right. Alabama Manufacturers Shootout is happening the first weekend of November or second weekend. I can't remember the exact date. Confirmed. We have Juan Carlos Canas, Madman Marco Barufalo, Robert Badier, and Pecco Ivanen are making the trip over from Europe to race with the Southeast Racers in Coleman, Alabama. Also, JQ is going to be there, but he's running 40 plus. So it's really good to see the Europeans coming over. I know when I was in at IBC, a lot of them had talked about coming to this race just because it's kind of the end of their season. It's under a roof, it's capped and all that stuff. And a lot of them are talking about PNB because, you know, they're kind of looking at races where they're going to be guaranteed. Silver State, race time events, all that type of stuff. So it's really great to see. I don't think we've seen this many Europeans come to a race time event or a Southeast race in quite some time. So it's going to be great to see Canas, Barufalo, Robert, Pecco all racing out there. Even JQ in 40 plus, who I think he's going to get beat by the Drake because I think Drake's going. So it's going to be JQ versus Drake. I'm more interested in seeing JQ versus Dagani, to be honest. But that's going to be great. AMS is going to be good. If you are on the fence of going, you should sign. I mean, I think it's capped and it's already, I don't know what the deal is, but if you haven't paid, you should pay. And let's get ready to do that because the Europeans are coming. All right. So I'm going to finish this off with a couple things real quick. Reds released a new engine. They released their Super Veloce European edition. Let me get up here. Let me see what this is all about. That's right. They have released, I must admit, when it comes to releasing good looking engines, Reds is awesome. So this engine looks great. It's I really like, I'm just being a fanboy right now of how it looks. But check that out. Look at that. I love that red highlights around the fins. So this is the Reds Racing 721 Super Veloce Euros Edition off-road nitro engine. Reds have announced the release of a new limited edition of the 721 Super Veloce off-road nitro engine to celebrate the great success of the 2023 Euros and Radovans. So basically, this is a Canas JCC motor. This Monster Tune engine is a limited edition of only 300 pieces all around the world. It's the same setup used by JCC, TQ and first place, and Elliott Boots second place at the 2023 European Championships held at Radovan. Red's engine proved to be the best in terms of mileage, reliability, and tuning ability. So, Red's coming out with a new engine. It's great. JCC wins. Boots does well. They get their own engines. Check them out. And they look pretty cool. I don't know much more about them. I haven't really talked to much people about the Red stuff, so I don't know. All right. So we had two big races this past weekend, along with the IFMAR World Championships. They were the Georgia Peach State Classic, which I attended in Tiger, Georgia, as well as the rebirth of the once was called the Southern Nationals, but it's now called the Southern Classic. That's held in West Monroe, Louisiana. I had the privilege of going to the Southern Nationals when it was still the Southern Nationals under the first owners. I believe then Race Time took it over, and I don't think they're doing it anymore. Just because it's logistically, I think a little bit logistically difficult for them to get down there. This race has been a staple in that part of the Texas, Louisiana, Alabama community for quite some time. And it's good to see it rebirthed. The original track builder came in and built the track. It looked absolutely awesome. Let's have a look at it real quick. Let me turn the volume down. So we are going to have a look at the Brandon Rose actually won Nitro Buggy. Now, the only thing is it didn't get all the top pros that it used to get. And I think that has a lot to do with basically it being obviously on the World's weekend and having the 2023 Peach State Classic going on at the same time. But man, this track is completely awesome. Let's have a look at it. And let's have a look at a lap with Brandon Rose around this track. Massive jumps. Look at that. Massive jumps, 2 crossovers, like a big crossover and a bridge that jumped you down. And this gentleman always built some of the best tracks I've seen. Absolutely amazing tracks. I really like them. The year I went there, year JQ and I went there, they had a great track as well. You see the bridge jumping you off. I'm not a big fan of crossovers, but this is how you should do crossovers. Let's see that again. We should do crossovers where they send you up high and not far and fast. And this is exactly what it is. There's crossover number 1, sends you up high. There's no real danger hitting somebody in the head right there. Also, the bridge sends you off at a level where you're not going to be running up there. It's very easy. Kind of jumps off, so you're jumping up and down. This looks like a great event. They had, let's see, I'll bring up the stats here real quick. So they had, I will let you know, 364 entrants, 168 drivers. The winner of Pro Nitro Buggy Main was Brandon Rose, followed by Little Bump, Spencer Klein, Dylan Caldwell, and Cody Watson. So kudos to those guys. Like I said, not too many pros there because of the fact that it was two other races going on. Let's see who won Pro Open. So we had Open E-Buggy too. Open Nitro Buggy. Robbie Darby, Reggie Tong, Mike Battier, Ethan Martinez, and my boy Skiller Joe came 5th. Well on to those guys. Let's see the results of Pro Buggy Double E-Mains. We had Brandon Rose, Little Bump, Dylan Caldwell, Cody Watson, Jonathan Reeves, your champions in the whatchamacallit class, in the E-Buggy class. So well done to them. So great race, looks good. I'm not sure if they're going to have this. I think they've always had this date. Not sure if they're going to continue with this date because it did clash with 2 other races. So maybe we'll see. I hope they made it was enough that they can have it again. I know that this race means a lot to people, especially to like my friends Charlie Mack, Mitch, and all them guys. They go to this race. A lot of the Texas guys. So it's good to see it coming back. Next up was the race that I went to and I attended with Danny Paz, Lance McDonald, Patrick Rossiter. Lance obviously being the RD, Danny Paz doing the coverage, and actually Pat and I made a good team calling the races and doing pit interviews and that stuff. I think it was great. This is my second time going to Tiger, Georgia. It's absolutely beautiful up there, and I got to see a little bit more of the city, little town, and everything was nice. I love it up in this area. It's so beautiful, right? So I do appreciate getting to go up there and see these type of races. Now, this year, so I went to the North Georgia Shootout, which was in April. This is called the Peach State Classic. This is the second iteration of this race. And this year, they had a few pro drivers come in there. Yeah, Tyler Jones, Jared Tebow, Ryan Lott, Stephen Dalen, Jared Wiggins was there. Then they had drivers like Julian Oliveras, Joey Bardon. Jonah Wilson was really good at last year. Cole Caston were some of the top names there that participated in this. Tyler Jones was out there running the Sparker, and I have to admit, he looked great. He TQ'd round 1. He was super pumped about it. In Nitro Buggy, he came off. He's like, I needed that. We, had an interview with him. And then he went on to, I think he didn't TQ, he didn't have a good run in Q2, but I think he TQ'd Q3, I believe, which then put him starting on the pole. Jonah Wilson was very fast too. He TQ'd round 2. That young man's getting fast. And it was a great race. It kind of like in Nitro Buggy, let me put that up here so you guys can see. Jones kind of got out to the lead from the very beginning and never looked back. I'm looking, he led every lap of the 30-minute race. So well done to Jones. Much needed confidence that I say that he needed into this race. And it really helped him out a lot. This is Sparker's first big win, I want to say, as well. So, and especially on American turf, Sparker seems to have some money behind them, and they are pushing really hard. This is one of the cars that has been talked about the most. I did have a look at this car. He was doing they have like a similar Infinity type where it's a pillow ball, but it's not really a pillow ball, like it's an arm. So he went from that to a C-hub linked front end, and he really liked it. And he was telling us that Sparco is really involved in making this car better. So they are involved. They really want to become a viable option for different RC racer for any RC brand. I have to admit, it's been talked about quite a lot. Here's the track. It's beautiful up there. It was beautiful weather, like 75 degrees all weekend long. It did get a little bit cold. We had a little bit of rain on a Sunday, and I actually had to, if you see this side of the traction where they're coming out, where they're going to go up this double, because of some rain, this area got wet, so they had to cut the track there short for the first few mains in the beginning of Sunday. But once the track crew came and cleaned it off and dried it out, it was able to open up the track again. Brian Burnett built the track, Mark Moon and his wife put on the race with their help as well. So this race is turning into, there you see Seth and Dale making a mistake in those ruts. This race is becoming popular. This venue is becoming popular. We're starting to see more people coming to this. Lots of races starting to pop up in horse arenas in the Southeast just due to weather. People want guaranteed races. And this was a great event. I want to thank Mark Moon and his wife for having us up there. I want to thank everybody that came out and shouted out. I was right over here calling the race in the corner. It was fun to do it with Patrick Rossiter as well. We make a great team, I believe. Tebow was there. I think he came second in Nitro Buggy as well. And what was cool is we actually, on this Saturday, I believe, we stopped. No, was it Sunday? What's Sunday? Sunday, the mains of the World Finals are going on. So we stopped the race to watch A2 and watch Tater win that, actually. So that was actually very cool. We stopped to watch that, and I thought it was awesome. And I want to say thank you to everybody that came up and showed me some love. Congratulations to Tyler Jones. Great race for him. Got the proverbial RC monkey off his back. There you see Jones and Wilson having a good look. That young man Wilson has impressed me the most all this year. And if he keeps it up, he's got a bright future. But well done to Jones. He needed that victory. Good job for Sparco. And let's see what happens with Jones and Sparco in the future. There's Tebow right there. It was a great event. I enjoyed it. Ran well. And put this on your list. They have the North Georgia Shootout coming up. Oh, I forgot they had the first official Pro Moto X race at this race. Now, it was okay. It wasn't, I think the Pro Moto X, to be viable to race, still needs some work. Kyle Nuri actually drove it really good. He won it. And he drove and he was jumping everything. And he rode the bike very good. But I think still these bikes need some work. He also won Nitro Buggy, I believe, as well. Kyle Nuri had a good weekend as well. So shout out to everybody out there who done well. Let's go through some of the results. So in Nitro Buggy, Pro Nitro Buggy, it was Tyler Jones, Jared Tebow, Ryan Lutz, Stefan Dale, and Julian Oliveras. Great run for Julian Oliveras, actually. So good job to him. And let's see if I can bring up some more races here. Let's see who won. Pro E-Buggy main results. So Jonah Wilson won that. Ryan Lutz, Julian Oliveras, Jared Tebow, Seth Van Dalen. We had short course too. Short course was fun. Let's see. Intermediate Pro Nitro man. Yeah, it was Kyle Nuri, man. Danny Chavez, Chuck Berg, Wilson Coward. Shout out to Wilson. I didn't realize Wilson came fourth. Congratulations. Ryan Ram, Wilson, 12 years old, doing well. Chuck Berg, man. Chuck Berg and those Michigan guys came there. Chuck Berg was doing 10-minute pits constantly, no problem. Mugen, 80, like the whole Drake setup. All those Michigan cars were dialed. But there you see Jones doing really good. I'm probably going to talk more about this race with Max. Maybe not. I don't know. We'll see when I get him on board next week. But great job to everybody. And I see this race continuously growing. As you see the track, it got a little bit rough. There's Tebow. And I believe Wilson, I want to say. Yeah, that's Wilson. So Jonah Wilson battling it out. I think, yep, that's him. But good race. Put it on your calendar next year. Put the North Georgia Shootout on your calendar for April. It's a good race. Check it out. I need a sip of coffee. All righty then. I think that's enough for news. I might have missed some stuff. I'm not sure. I think the Spleenless Wonder is almost ready for me to come into the podcast. So let's see what he says. Thank you, everybody, for the continued support. I will talk about the H2GP more next week. So I'm not really going to dabble in that. It was a great event. It was very different. Like I said, I'll dedicate some time talking about that because I think it's really cool. And I need to dedicate like about 20 minutes just to talk about that to Max, as well as have the owner of it, one of the organizers, come on and talk about it. So I'm going to tell about how it all happened. And I will talk about that. But I was truly an honor to be there with RC Racing TV and got a chance to work with them again. It was thousands of people there. Thousands of non-RC people seeing RC for the first time. It was awesome. It was awesome. And they heard my voice. I was so scared. With that said, we're going to go on to the main interview of the 2023 World Championships, IFMAR 110 Scale World Championships with Matty G. He's also going to answer your questions. This is brought to you by Techno RC.
Techno RC. Techno RC is a championship-winning manufacturer of high-performance 8-scale, 10-scale, nitro, and electric RC buggies and trucks. With a worldwide dealer network, USA and Europe-based headquarters, comprehensive warranty program, and global race support, Techno RC is excellence in RC. View the full lineup of Techno RC race-proven vehicles by visiting www.technorc.com.
So joining me this weekend is the Spleenless Wonder, who's now the main Spleenless Wonder. The main for you. To talk about the 2023 10-scale World Championships, probably one of the most anticipated 10-scale World Champions we've had in quite some time. First championships back in America in 10 years for 10-scale. If you want to learn more about 10-scale world's history, check out episode number 255 I did with T-Boy. We went back and looked at a lot of the worlds that he went to. I remember talking to him at this race that I was just at, and it was like, part of me wants to be there, but part of me knows that I would have had the work that I would have had to put in to do this would have been insane. So you made the trip out. This race started. Wow, this was a long race because you guys, everybody kind of made the trip out there the Friday prior to it. Practice started on this Saturday or Sunday?
Practice started on Sunday, but tire gluing was on Saturday.
All right, so let's start with that because that's what caused the. First off, two questions. Now, traditionally, four-wheel drive was run second. Two-wheel drive was always first, and four-wheel drive was second. What was the do you know what the reason for that was?
They do it off every year.
Okay.
They usually start with one first and then the other one first. I think the biggest thing is they wanted to break the track in like for two-wheel, so it had some of a groove on it.
All right, well, let's talk about that because this is a traditional track. I know leading up to this, like my friends over in Europe, especially the briefcase, he messaged me constantly asking about track prep. Now, traditionally on clay tracks in America, we use sauce. There was no sauce allowed here, any type of tire prep whatsoever. And I guess running four-wheel drive on it, being they have a little bit more traction, did that help going into the two-wheel drive section? Did they lay down enough rubber for that to help as well?
I would say that like the 4L portion of it was pretty good. Like it started off a little rough, and that because I was in heat 1, so I was the first heat out there doing donuts. But then it got good. Like it just was the same amount of grip. Like for everybody, the tire prep from what we had all practiced on was definitely different. But since there was no sauce in the track like whatsoever.
Awesome. All right. So tell us, before we get into Tiregate, tell us your first impressions of the four-wheel drive side of the track. What did you think about it?
It was tough. Coming off the straightaway, there was a double that you had to like arc to triple to come onto the triple. So trying to do that consistently every lap definitely wasn't easy. And if you pushed out wide, you got in the dust and just did a donut. So doing that consistently was hard. I tried to forget most of the layout.
You're trying to forget it?
No, I tried to forget most of the layout because my world does not go well.
It did not. It did not. But that's how it goes, right? There was a lot of competition there, and we know that I think making the main would have been a great accomplishment for you, but in all respect, there was a lot of fast guys that did not make the main. There was a lot of fast guys that did not make the main. So don't feel bad about that. I saw I just wanted to say that I thought the track was cool. I was hoping for maybe some big send it type of jumps too, but I didn't really see that too much.
Yeah.
So I think they made a layout that was safe, I would say, but as you said, it was a little bit hard. I wasn't driving on it. I thought the presentation was great. I thought
the turf on the infield.
Yes, I thought the track looked great. The surrounding area looked great. Obviously, that wall with all the previous 10 scale world champions on it was awesome. I thought I've never been to this facility, but I thought it looked pretty good in there with all that type of stuff and all that decoration. So kudos to the track crew for all of that.
Yeah.
It looked good. What was the atmosphere like? I could just imagine what the atmosphere was like on Saturday, Friday. Everybody getting there. I'm watching everybody's posts headed to the Worlds, doing this type of stuff. So I'm pretty sure it was just like everybody was excited that first Saturday, Friday, Saturday.
We were definitely all super excited to glue tires, and then I get there and set up, hang out with our buddies and stuff like that. And then everything with the tires happened, and then we just kind of all sat around the first practice day for a couple hours till they sorted that out.
Well, that's a good segue into Tiregate, because you messaged me. I think I was in America. No, so everybody got their tires on Tuesday, right? On Saturday.
Yeah.
All right. So let's start with that. First off the bat, I think it's absolutely dumb that you have a spec tire race and don't have a limit on tires. It kind of eliminates the point of having a spec tire to an extent, because if you can buy unlimited tires, then it kind of still gives an unfair advantage to people that can buy it. So I think going forward, there should be a limit. Like any spec tire. I do understand that this is also a way for the track to make some extra money, but I feel that there should be another way to do it instead of jeopardizing the whole making it fair for everybody thing with the spec tire. But so the big thing is they basically ran out of four-wheel drive front tires. And why was that? Stop yawning on the
I was trying to get something out, but so the tires, I don't think they expected multiple people to buy one-run sets of tires. But it was everyone who came to the warm-up or did practice prior to the event knew, like, hey, the one-run tires are usually the fastest. So you should probably get a set for every run. So the Schumacher team got one-run sets of tires. Couple other
you
guys
got a whole bunch of one-run sets of tires. We have photographical evidence of you doing that.
Couple other guys got one-run sets of tires. Some little Mexican kid got 16 sets of tires.
Would that be you? I mean, you were representing.
It might be. It might be.
But anyway, they ran out of tires for everybody, right? So it was just two. Now, I heard that people were also using the four-wheel drive fronts on two-wheel drive. Was that the case, or what happened?
Some people were. I don't think many people ended up doing that. The four-wheel front's really tall, and the two-wheel front's a little smaller. So it's just a matter of like if you wanted to do that or not.
So in the end, what was I know there was a big kerfuffle, right?
Yeah, and I feel bad like for Larry. Like the presentation of the track, the shop, like everything that they did, I felt in that moment got shadowed because they didn't have enough tires, which really sucks.
He came on and apologized on Facebook, and I'm pretty sure he was aiming at people like me who was making a big deal about it. But my issue isn't with him, right? Yes, obviously he should have enough tires. The issue should be that there shouldn't be a thing about having enough tires. There should be a limit, right? Have a limit. It makes it fair for everybody. It makes it easier for that track to have tires on hand. Companies, everything. It just makes it fair right across the bat.
Well, so I think in Slovakia they were running one-run tires. I'm not sure why, because there was no grip there.
Okay, but what was the final decision? How many tires was everybody allowed?
So the final decision was, I believe, 5 sets in 4-wheel and 6 in 2-wheel. And if you made the main in either class, you could get another set.
Now, what about people who had already glued up tires?
Hobby Action bought them back. So they reimbursed you for the tires.
Even the glued ones?
Yeah.
So did they have a spec foam and all that stuff as well?
Yeah. Okay, spec tire, like spec foam, all that stuff.
Now, was you allowed to put like nothing like reinforcement on the sidewalls, anything like that inside, or anything like that?
For two-wheel, like you could, but that's because it was an open like front tire. In 4-wheel, you couldn't do anything. It was glue and go.
So everybody got how many sets of tires again for 4-wheel drive?
5 in 4-wheel, 6 if you made the main, and then It was 6 sets in 2-wheel and another set if you made the main, I think.
Okay. Now, and so nobody had a real issue with having to buy glued tires, because I know some people kind of piss them in on not being able to glue up their tires. I understand that too.
I don't really know anyone who had to buy the glue tires. I just know that Hobby Action got everything like settled. What sucked is that they ordered tires the week before or 2 weeks before, and they never showed up.
Not surprised whatsoever.
So then they showed up main day of 4-wheel.
Great day for them to show up. Excellent. Yeah. Well done, AKA.
So
2 thumbs up.
I don't know who to blame there, but it really sucked to see Larry under that.
I mean,
when
they only had a whole year to know. Like, I think they announced this tire at least at the beginning of this year. So they only had a whole year, 6 months. Not Hobby Action.
Yeah,
but the other people to have enough tires. This guy, look at this. Look at this guy just yawning on the camera.
I'm trying not to. I'm trying so hard not to.
Can't drink coffee. Can't drink Red Bull because his spleenless now. All right, so do forgive him for yawning. All right, so now with all that fuss and whatnot, what was the tire degradation like? What were the better tires? Did it get better as time went on?
So from what a lot of the guys thought, it was the third run was like the max. Before they started to get slow and feel weird when the AK foam crushes like really fast and it moves around a lot. So it wears in like pretty good. And after that, it starts to get all weird and the car does really inconsistent stuff.
So it wasn't the actual rubber, it was the foams that were degrading. So that sucks. They need better foams. Was you able to glue the foams to the wheels at all?
We weren't sure, but they said as soon as we started gluing tires, yes, we could.
Okay. So I watched that, my boy Mitch on the mic, who was on it, by the way. He had some good coverage. You guys are out under a tent in some hot weather doing that.
Yeah.
Stuff.
We weren't allowed to bring any water out there because, someone might put sauce in there and then, spill.
What were you cleaning the bead with?
Either the stuff that they had supplied at the track.
So they just had like a spot you went get your cloth and just wiped it off, or you had your own individual stuff?
They had a spray bottle like out there and blue towels.
Okay. And so you just spent all Saturday out there in the heat gluing up tires.
Me and my gringo father sat out there and glued tires, which was smart of him. I told him, I want to glue up all of these so we have them ready to go. He's like, let's just glue up 5. Because he's like, you don't know if you're going to want to glue the rear foams or the front foams, so let's just glue up 5 and go from there. I'm like, all right. That was a good choice because I got to sell back a good majority of my tires back to Hobby Action.
Okay, how much were tires anyway?
The 16 sets I bought, or just in general?
Just per tire, per set of tire. Like 2 tires.
I can't remember off the top of my head. It was either 40 or 20 or 22. It might have been 22. It was 22 for 2. Okay,
so it's probably 40 for both then.
Yeah.
Well, it should have been 44, but maybe they gave you a deal. All righty then. So moving on, we get to practice. It was open practice and then seeding practice. So how many rounds did you get?
4 of normal practice and 3 of seeding.
So I did know that in his infamous wisdom, Jeff Parker decided to have 3 rounds of seeding and have 1 round on the day of qualifying. So, no, sorry, he had 1 round on the day of qualifying, which then pushed qualifying to go in only 4 rounds on the day of qualifying and 1 round on the main day, which I thought was dumb because you could have done all 5 rounds. It had a consistent track for everybody.
Yeah.
The same consistent track on one day. In my opinion, what a stupid decision to have another seeding round. Or, just let people go right into qualifying. What did you think about that?
I didn't know that was up to Jeff. I thought it was weird that we all had to run a round in the boarding just with the track conditions being so different from one track.
Oh my gosh, this guy and his yawning.
I'm trying not to. So the track conditions varied so much from whether there was people on it to people not being on it. So like I think in Q4 there was a lot of people and Q5 that got like top 5, top 10 runs that were the out-qualified pros because of the changing track conditions.
So it was better on Q5 for you.
Yeah, it was better. So the A heat was the first qualifier up, and the later heats, the more the track like warmed up, the more grip it got.
Now, did they rotate the heats as well throughout there? So like it wasn't 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 up to 14. Yeah. I did see that. I did see that.
So they did race 1, race 5, 10, and then so on.
Okay. So practice starts. Davide is fast right off the bat. Lots of Europeans are fast. I think I've never been so happy to be wrong, because honestly, I didn't think the Europeans would. I didn't think many would make the main period, if not one. But the Europeans seem to be very strong in four-wheel drive right off the bat. Was that shocking to you, American drivers?
I wasn't shocked that Davide was going around good.
Really? Because it shocked me.
No, like I knew coming into it, I'm like, this guy's gonna be pretty fast. So like they just he literally built his car in the hotel room and then showed up.
Did he? I heard that. I wasn't sure if that was true or not.
Yeah. It was a hotel thrash build.
Really?
Was good to go though. Yeah, it looked pretty good. His mechanic, Nino, I think, was on it. So
who was his mechanic?
Nino, I think.
Oh, so his dad didn't go. Okay.
No.
So anyway, as we go into, I believe he was top seed as well, right?
It was either him or it might have been Fend. I think Fend top seeded.
They don't show these. Maybe I'm missing it, but I'm looking for these stats.
I think Fend top seeded 4-wheel.
All right. Well, let's see. Because they don't have. So Ongaro top seed off of Q pre-1, P1. Oh, what is this? Why is this 2-wheel drive? Dude, you gulp very loud.
I'm trying to stay awake.
This guy knows he has to record a podcast, right? So Fan took first round P1, and let's see, P2. What? Jared Stokes?
There was a
mishap.
Yeah.
Okay, so Ongaro and Karp. Practice round 3. Brock Champlin. I think Davide went in top seed. Well, who knows? Because it's off your best 3, right? There's no overall there.
Davide would have top seeded. The third round of seeding was where you started like in your heat.
Okay, so he started. Let's see. Let me see. I should have had all this planned. Davide actually started 8th. Then, according to that, because third, he finished 8th overall in the third heat.
Okay.
All right. Anyway, we go into qualifying because that's where it all matters, right? So going into qualifying, Davide just kind of kills everybody in round 1, 2, and 3. I don't think there was anybody close to him. It looks like I'm looking at round 1 results. He had a 16.502. The closest person to him was Sontag, actually, who had a 16.502.8. So Sontag was just a 10th off, really just under.
Tater was on it the first round of qualifying, and I don't know what happened the next few, but
he had a 12, a 20, a 10, and a 30. That's what happened to him, which he ended up being BQ. And I guess but man, Ongaro was just good, and I was freaking out on Facebook. So Ongaro had 502.
Just like from what it seemed like he just outdrove everybody in qualifying. Like he didn't seem like he had the fastest car, but his stuff, he just was the most comfortable out there with what he had, and just was going around and
it looks like round 4 and 5. Once he had TQ wrapped up, he did the smart thing. I wouldn't have wasted more tires if he did, and I would have just saved those tires for the finals.
I think that they started changing stuff to see if they could get it better. Like I know a lot of the guys are running plastic, like ring and pinion gears, and then they switched over to the metal ones because he was like running them. And I think he tried plastic like how they had it, and it just wasn't going well. I personally always run the metal stuff. So,
what is the difference? Is the plastic one just more faster?
The plastic ones, they're a little freer, so they're on top of the track. And with the amount of grip that we had, we needed more in the track feel. So the plastic or the metal stuff just planted it a little bit better.
Really? Okay. So, and then next to him, let's look at some of the. Arlowski was second overall. He had a 6, a DNF, a 2, a 0, and a 14. Old man Dustin Evans, dude. 5, 2.
He like snuck in there. I didn't know Dustin was like close there until I started really like watching what those guys were doing. I'm like, oh, like Dustin's up there.
CFT, good to see Cole Tyler doing well. He was 4th. I think the biggest surprise was Rivkin was not TQ. Rivkin was not TQ, and I think the second biggest surprise would have been Dakota Fendon in 9th.
Yeah, I think Dakota barely made it into the main.
He had a 15, a 2, a 21, and a 3. So a 15, 2, and a 3 got him in. Interesting.
Like then when Carrick was out front in Q5, no one was letting him by, so he should have started a little higher than where he did.
Who, Spencer?
No,
Carrick.
Yeah.
Why was nobody letting him by? Because he's European.
I don't know. I watched it. I watched it with my own eyes, and it was pretty shitty to see.
Really? Well, he's a 2-time European champion, and you know what? He made the main in 10th. Aiden Horn as well, and Bruno Corella. So we had 1, 2, 3, 4 Europeans, which is at least 3 more than I thought would make it. And then the surprises would be like Tasman in 12th, Cavallari in 14th. Look, if you would have told me that Ryan Mayfield would have been in, where did he start? Way down in 21st at this race in 4-wheel drive, I would have told you, shut the front door. Wow. So tell us a little bit why you think Fenn was so off it, because I did hear that he couldn't use his Trinity products. I heard that he had to use like Trinity Hobby Ring ESC and motor.
No, so he ran his Pro Performance XP control and just the Hobby Ring motor and a different like battery. I know a lot of those guys aren't used to this, how smooth the Hobby Wing like stuff is. So you have to drive a little more in the trigger to get the punch feel that you want. I'm not sure. Like, he looked good in practice. Like, the TLR cars definitely looked really good out there. They made a really good amount of grip for the conditions that we had. So I'm not too sure why things weren't going good. Because his stuff was fast. Like, he was on pace, setting the pace even like sometimes, and yeah.
So he ran a different motor then, not the Trinity motor. I think.
Yeah. So he had to run a Hobby Wing like motor.
So it doesn't.
So did a lot of guys.
Okay, and that was because a lot of this stuff wasn't just IFMAR legal
approved.
Or not,
so,
approved. Sorry.
Yeah, the Trinity stuff wasn't. The Phantom stuff.
How could these guys go into this race not having this stuff not approved? How?
I believe Trinity tried to, and there was a mishap, and then I don't think Phantom knew that they had to get their stuff because they thought it just had to be Roar approved. And then like Phantom's a smaller like company, so I'm sure that for them that they haven't had many of their drivers go to the Worlds. So
all right. So what about Cav, Tasman, and Mayfield? Let's talk about these guys because they did not make the main, right? Mayfield being in lowest. Tasman, let's see. Tasman, let's see if he had any. He had a 4.
Yeah, he had a 4 in Q1, yeah.
Yes. Cavallari had a 13. His highest was an 8th. Let's see where whatchamacallit was. Hold on, where is he? 21. Mayfield just had a stinker all around. A 20, a DNF, a 12, a 20. He was just never on pace. Now, he was sporting the new Fly Sky MB4 Pro. Do you think that had something to do with it?
No. He ran it at the Mugen Challenge and had good results. He ran it when we came in club race. The radio seems to be pretty good. He said it's comparable to what he's used in the past. So he seemed pretty happy with it.
All right. Maybe just not enough practice, I would say. Because he's running associated cars as well, right?
Yeah, it just was it was hard. It wasn't easy at all. Just trying to get a feel for the cars and trying to feel consistent throughout the whole run. It was hard.
Okay. All right. So let's get into finals day. So finals day, you guys have some practice. Obviously, the big hype is about Davide. He kind of murdered you guys all in qualifying, which I honestly, I'm still shocked at it, but I ain't, because Davide is really good, right? And four-wheel drive, probably not having as much grip. He's used to driving like this. He's able to throw his car on a lot more. We see this in 8 scale, but I didn't think he was going to be this good. And I'm all excited because I'm like, if he wins, that's 6 months of bragging rights for me about America versus USA. So he goes into A1. Let's put that up, or we'll start that actually. We'll put A1 on while we're talking about
3 for 3 in our first 3 rounds of qualifying.
That's going on in the background there. I think he just kind of completely dominated A1. If I remember correctly.
He walked away from it pretty much. Orlowski held the pace for a bit at the beginning, and then Davide just kind of walked away.
All right, so here we are with Davide. He's in the yellow car. Once again, his paint scheme has changed somewhat. It looks more yellow and whitish now. There's Orlowski, and I believe that's Fenn right behind him. No, that's Evans.
Yeah,
so, not surprised at this. He did well. A2 was different. He made some mistakes. Rivkin was able to get by. No, Orlowski was able to get by, and then Rivkin made a beautiful pass.
Yeah.
On Orlowski, and it looks like Orlowski just let that door open, and man, Rivkin
it just seemed like he went. I was standing right at where the double was. It just seemed like he blew the corner a bit, and Spencer was just like, "Yep, I'll take this."
Did he? He took it. So now we have an exciting, Davide has one, Spencer has one. Spencer being obviously the favorite going into this. These two guys being teammates. Davide, back-to-back 8 scale world champion. On the cusp of being a 10 scale world champion. I don't think we've ever seen this ever.
No.
We saw Mark Pavidis be a 10 scale world champion and 8 scale world champion, but they were 10 years apart.
Yeah.
So going into A2, A3, I think Davide made some mistakes as well, if I remember correctly.
So he was going around fine. He made a couple bobbles, and then Orlowski and him tangled up, which allowed Spencer to capitalize and get up there. And then after that, Orlowski made a bobble, and Spencer and Davide just kind of battled it out till the very end. Spencer put on a really good drive. For anyone who got to see or watch, the amount of pace Spencer had behind Ongaro was pretty awesome. But
I think it was incredible, right? Spencer really wanted it.
To come from the 5 spot, you could tell that Spencer wanted it. So he definitely put on a show, tried his best, and
Yeah, literally when they came across the line, it was like 0.2 of a second.
Yeah, he barely missed it.
Wow, that's because look, so Davide had a 16.5, 4:59.918, and Rivkin was a 16.5, 1:22.2.
Yeah,
0.1 of a second. That's like a blink.
Yeah.
That. So good valiant effort from Rivkin. I know he is pretty bummed. What was the atmosphere like with Davide winning this world championship? Was the crowd electric?
Yeah,
what was going on?
It was pretty. It was just entertaining to watch. That was probably one of the best 10 scale races we've got to watch in a while. With just people going back and forth, and seeing that even though the track was hard and the conditions were different than what we all normally race on, it was still a show for everyone to watch.
Right. So with that coming down to the end, Davide Ongaro would take first, Rivkin second, Orlowski third, Champlin fourth, and Coelho fifth. Coelho kind of having a silent worlds, especially in four-wheel drive, which is his strongest class. He's a two-time world champion in this. So, and he was the reigning world champion coming into this. But top of the X-ray drivers, only X-ray driver to make the mains. Ty Tessman was, not non-existent. My dark horse was Chase Lemieux. He was very non-existent.
Yeah.
Who was probably one of the best guys you saw her that should have made the main but didn't? I think you said Tater was one, but who else would you say?
Tater and 4-0 for sure. Davey Bada was pretty dialed in qualifying. I think he had a couple 7s. I think he had a 5. And then just had a couple rough runs in Q4 and Q5 that kind of kept him out of it. The same thing in Tupelo.
Who surprised you that was in the A main in four-wheel drive?
Nobody really. Like, everyone that was on that stand deserved to be in there.
Okay.
So
I think even though he's a two-time world champion, European champion, I think Kara was a big surprise to me.
He came in practice a couple months ago or a month before and was fast during practice.
Okay.
So he came and ran a bit before, and he seemed it wasn't really affecting him like too much.
I like him and his dad. I think that young man has a bright future ahead of him. And when he starts running more nitro, it's going to be awesome. Yeah. All right, as we're coming up on the NBC, Ongaro is kind of just out there chilling. Not chilling, but he takes his first win. He's your first back-to-back world champion, plus 10 scale world champion, and probably looking really good going into two-wheel drive. I thought he'd be able to do it. You guys had a day off. What did you do on your Wednesday off?
Glued tires.
Okay, so let's talk about that, because there was also some more kerfuffle with tires in
two-wheel drive. There wasn't any kerfuffle. They just said that we were only allowed to have 6 sets of tires.
Right, but they were trying to put a limit on the open tire as well on the front, if I remember correctly. I was told.
I'm not too sure on that one, because we glued up the new Void front tire like from AKA, because when we practiced it was good, and it was not good when we raced. And then we ran some guys ran the AKA tire with the rim cut. I'm not gonna to show you, but we did that. And then Tater, I think, ran a normal front bald eagle from Proline in the front.
Okay, yeah, because he's Proline anyway, right?
Yeah.
Okay, so two-wheel drive comes up once again. Fenn goes in their favorite. Ongaro actually starts on pull, because if you're going off your practice round, seeding round 3, Brennan Schimmel, dude, takes your top seed, and it's Brendan Schimmel, Fenn, Horn, Sontag, Chase Lemieux.
So Horn top seeded.
Okay, so you said your top 3 goes into this. Okay, so I'm confused.
So Q2 is what should have decided it, but the last round of seeding is where you started in your heat. Okay, so Aiden Horn, Marcus Carrot, Brendan Schimmel, Ongaro, Brock Champlin, Tater Sontag, Spencer Rifkin, Cole Tyler, Dakota Fenner, Arlowski, your top 10. Okay, so those are your top seeds. Aiden Horn taking your top seed for this. He had a 56.7. Let's say compared to Carrot, who had a 57 flat, and Schimmel had a 57.1. Yeah. So Ongaro not showing the same pace as he did in four-wheel drive right off the bat. Not surprised. Different type of car, a little bit different. Going into Q1, Dakota Fenn takes the TQ, and I'm like, all right, Fenn's back. He goes shook up in four-wheel drive. He's back in two-wheel drive. He took a dominating TQ of Q1. Well, he took not a dominating, but he TQ'd over his rival, his nemesis, Spencer Rifkin. Fenn had a 16.507.2. Rifkin had a 16.507.5. So only 2 tenths. Ongaro was back with a 509. We had Sontag with a 509. Mayfield and Cavallari finally show up as well. Aiden Horn 7th, Brock Chapman 9th, Davey Bada. Oh, that's a good run for him. 9. Your Newman, too, looking good. Yeah.
And then Schimmel, Tollard, Evans, Carup in 14th, and Coelho in 15th, and Tasman. Ooh, Tasman on 18th. Not happy about that, I would say. So then we go on to Q2, and I'm thinking, all right, Tater Sontag, TQ's this. Brock Champlin 2nd. This is when I'm like, ooh. See, I've been watching Tater for the last year and a half.
Yeah.
And he is beat Finn at some of these races in 8 scale and 10 scale. Was not surprised to see Tater doing well at this race in 2-wheel drive or 4-wheel drive. But it goes Sontag, Champion Horn, Cavallari with another top 5, Carrot with top 5, Mayfield 6, Ongaro 7, Schimmel, Rivkin, Bada. Where the heck was Fend?
He had a rough run like that qualifier.
He did. I think I actually watched this. He made some mistakes and that cost him. So going into Q3, Tater again, but Tater by a whole second almost over Ongaro, Schimmel having a good one, Tallard, Rivkin, Orlowski shows up, Cavallari, Brock Champlin, Jorn Newman, and Dustin Evans. Wow, Austin Cracknell had a good run too.
Yeah.
Wow. Harley Yoshi beat a bunch of fast guys. Just going through this. Kyoto Kuiki, his name shows up later on in this, if I remember correctly. Tell me a little bit about him.
He came down for like a month, I think, for the warm-up and stayed there. And I think the track conditions from the warm-up to what we all practiced on to what we're running were completely different.
Okay. So now we're in Q4. Rivkin takes TQ, Fenn second, not too set. Wow. Like, freaking Rivkin demolished these guys by 3 seconds. He was on it.
Yeah.
So it's Rivkin, Fenn, Horn, Cavallari, Orlowski, Coelho, Newman, Ongaro, Tessman, Chase Lemieux, Cotallard 11th, Mayfield in 12th. And I think Tater had a stinker.
Mm-hmm.
He had a bad stinker. So going into Q5, which then took place on Mains Day, we saw Brock Champlin, Davide Ongaro, Tater Sontag with a 3, Ryan Mayfield, Kyrup, Evans, Jorn Newman, Rivkin, Coelho, Aiden Horn. Wow, what happened to Brock? He just kind of showed up at that last qualifier.
Yeah, they changed some stuff, and he had a qualifier where he had a DNF, but they figured like some stuff out in the morning run, and he went out there and TQ'd.
Yeah, they had that new car there too. What did you think about that?
Cavallari ran it a couple of weeks ago, and it looked really good. It seems like the Schumacher team's always like working to develop stuff and get their name a little more known in the United States. So they got the right people to do it.
Okay, awesome stuff. I guess this will be the dirt version of the car. I know they're primarily carpet and AstroTurf over in Europe. But with that said, Champlin takes that TQ, and let's see the overall TQs here. So in the end, it was Tater because he had a 0-0 and a 3. Spencer Rivkin, who had a 0-4 and a 2. And Ongaro, 3rd. Brock Champlin, 4th. Dakota Fenn, 5th. Aiden Horn, 6th. Ryan Cavallari, 7th. 8th was Mayfield. Kyrup, 9th. And Schimmel, 10th. I think missing out on this, which was surprising, was Coelho. Bada finished 14th. Orlowski will not be happy as well. This is something he would have thought he would be in the main for, and he's in 16th. And Ty Tessman gone in 17th. So Tessman having a very disappointing Worlds. But Tater Sontag taking over that TQ, going into finals day. I think the world was buzzing, right? We just had this European guy come over to America and dominate. Now we have Tater, who's kind of the unexpected hero in all of this, I would say.
Yeah, I definitely expected him to make the main.
Okay, yes. I'm not surprised at that.
Yeah, but like just watching him drive, how comfortable he was, how confident he looked in his stuff. Like he just drove good. Like there was like when he was out front a couple qualifiers, I'm like, no one's beating this kid. Like this guy is on. Yeah,
that's how good he looked. I've seen him like that a few times, but he'd always make mistakes. Right?
No, this weekend you couldn't shake him.
Honestly, that's good. 16 he is, right?
Yeah.
Alrighty then. So we go into Mains Day after. Well, we're in Mains Day after the qualifier. Don't you guys get some practice too? I think the guys got open practice after that.
We got a one practice round.
Here's Yoni Spleenless Wonder. Let's look at A1, which Tater actually won.
Mm-hmm.
You'll put that up on there. Excuse me, I got a cough. I apologize. So Tater, this actually starts a little bit in. So
it could have been all. It could have been all bad the first lap. Tater kind of hooked a pipe.
I saw that,
and it collected. Well, then at first Brock got into somebody, and then after that, it just was a yeah.
So Tater gets out in front. I see where he hooks that pipe and gets it wrong. Oh, shucks. This is just the short end of this. Hold on. It's in 2 parts on Live RC.
Because they did the driver leg intros and stuff like that, I think. Or no, they're probably showing where they had to make Cavalier do the stop and go for no reason.
We're going to talk about that because I thought that was a very silly stop and go. So this is the main her. We'll see Tater come up. I think he gets it wrong on this double coming up her.
He gets it. He tags that a little bit.
Oh yeah, and that puts Fan right behind him, and then Fan just flops.
He jumped off the track this lap, I think.
Yeah, I have no idea how he does that. He just accelerates out of there and accelerates completely right into the driver's stand. How does he do that?
The takeoff there wasn't the most grip, so if you didn't line it up straight, you were going into the wall.
So he looks pretty comfortable, and that is Horn behind him. Yep.
Yeah.
All right. So Tater gets out front. He takes Q1. We're gonna see. This is a dumb penalty. I have to agree. I don't understand how Cavalier got a penalty for this when Horn went sideways.
So Aiden got loose.
Mm-hmm.
Cavalier had nowhere to go, and he tagged him a bit, but he just kept going, it wasn't Cavalier's fault at all.
And then you got to stop and go. How long did you have to stop for?
He didn't completely stop. He just let Aiden go by.
Yeah, but so this wasn't his fault. I'm pretty sure Cav was not happy about this.
No, because he could have had a 2 when he got a 3 for no reason.
Also, didn't him and Orlowski have a little bit of a coming together as well? Not a coming together, but I saw in qualifying that Cav kind of had a checkup going over that triple, and this whatever, and he went off while they were qualifying. And he didn't look too mad. He looked a little bit upset. One thing I forgot to ask is, what did they actually change from the 2-wheel drive track to the 4-wheel drive track?
The end of the straightaway and the center section. And this section right here.
Okay. Now, did that adversely affect anything in grip or whatnot? Changing that data on?
Honestly, it grouped up pretty quick. It wasn't super loose there for it was only loose there, I feel for the first practice session, and then it continued to get more and more grip.
Okay. All right. So Tater wins this race. You'll see the stop and go by Cav her shortly of the penalty that was enforced to him. Now, we was at the Peach State Classic, and we actually stopped the racing on Mains Day to watch the final. So everybody gathered around the screens. We stopped the racing there and watched it, and everybody was cheering for Tater. Super happy about Tater about this because Tater Sontag did not have the best reputation as a young kid. Let's be honest, he is very rude. A lot of grown men wanted to kick his little ass when he was younger. But as yours, I remember when I first met him, he was really young and he was just walking around and he came up, said something to me, nothing rude. But as he's grown up, he's also been doing this for quite some time, right?
Yeah.
As he's gotten older, he's now only 16. He has gotten a lot better.
Yeah.
I've gotten to know his dad a little bit as well, who's an excellent pit man, by the way. And he's very calm. I haven't seen him act out or anything like he used to. So he's gotten that under control.
Yeah.
Which is very good to see.
He's definitely a lot more calm than he used to be.
Right. And then to come out here at 16 and win a world championship and nobody was expecting it was absolutely amazing. What was it like when he won in A2?
Everyone was screaming. Just, a lot of people
were on there.
Didn't think he was going to do it. And I remember watching A1. I'm like, he's got this. This. His kid's gonna win.
Really, I thought it was very good for him.
It was good for him. It was good for TLR. I'm like the last person who won a world title for TLR or low C, I believe, was Cavalieri in 03.
He was thinking about this. It was Yuka Stanari too, I believe. That won 2-wheel drive.
Yeah.
No, sorry, Kinwald. I was told was the last person to win.
No, it was So Cavalieri won a title for them in 4-wheel.
Okay.
And I don't know
who was the last 2-wheel drive racer to
win. It was either Kinwald or Sonari.
Sonari was 4-wheel drive, I believe.
Okay. Because Francis won 2-wheel, no?
That's way before my time.
Yeah.
Well, I shouldn't say way before my time, but before I was actually paying attention to 10 scale. I've always been a nitro guy. So we're gonna this is A2. We'll start. There's only 12 seconds of this, 52 seconds, and then I'll go to the next one. So there's Tater out there.
This is probably the last few laps.
Okay, so we'll just do it here where we'll do the last few laps where he celebrates, and gets that reward. I was super happy for him. I think he saved TLR's butt because obviously Fenn was the favorite going into her. I think he saved TLR's butt, and Ongaro saved Associated's, right?
Yeah.
But mind you, I think it was a lot closer. As we can see, it was definitely a lot closer in 4-wheel drive compared to this. But man, Tater was not. I did not expect Tater to win this. I expected Fenn to win it for TLR. I expected Rivkin to win it for Associated, and Tater was the hero that TLR needed this weekend.
Yeah.
And I thought it was a great result for him. There we see everybody clapping. Oh, I thought they had the
Matt probably has all that stuff.
Yeah. What was it like when this kid won this? Like
just uproar. Like it was just not in a bad way. Just everyone was clapping. It was all loud and just like, it's kind of, I think, for everyone going into A3 being like, well,
he did it for America.
Yeah. I'm like,
the Europeans come over and conquer in 4-wheel drive, and the American wins 2-wheel drive. I think you're going to ask for a better story out of Worlds, right?
No, it was good. Yeah, like the Europeans came out swinging in 4-wheel and in 2-wheel. The USA showed up.
I think both of those winners were great. Obviously, it would have been great to see like a Fend win this, or maybe a Rivkin win this on his home track. But
because I think the last few winners in 2-wheel have all been American.
Yes, because it was 2017. It was Rivkin. Mayfield, sorry. 2018. 2018 was Mayfield. 2019 was
17.
Was it? Yeah, sorry. 2017 was Mayfield. 2019 was Rivkin. 2015 was Rivkin as well.
Yep.
And
then 2013 was it was Tebow. So
Hartson won 4-wheel drive.
Yep.
And 2017 was Coelho won 4-wheel drive. 2019, obviously, 2015 Coelho won 4-wheel drive. 2017 Mayfield won both. 2019 was Coelho again.
Yeah.
So we're seeing a little bit of a trend here.
Yeah.
So maybe next year. Next in 2025, it's going to be a double American win.
I don't know, like the Australians. I think that's where it's supposed to be. A couple of my buddies in Australia have been telling me,
like at that Chargers track.
No, I don't think it's going to be there. It's going to be somewhere else.
Okay. All right, let's get into a little bit of other things that happened there. By the way, congratulations to Davide Ongaro. Congratulations to Tater. Ooh, I would have loved to have been in that conversation Monday. With Fend not having a world championship, Tater having one before him, his Padawan. Where do you think that bumps Tater up on the totem pole of TLR?
I don't know, because the same thing happened to Mayfield in 2015. You know what I mean? Like his protege Spencer Rivkin wins a title before he wins. So it's kind of a trend. You're
well, I would say this. A lot of people are like, yeah, Tater's going to get paid. He's going to get a big salary. And I don't think that's going to happen. I think he obviously going to make some money off contingency, but I think he still has to have more. he has to have more consistent wins under his belt to start demanding that big salary.
Yeah.
I think TLR will up his, if he stays with TLR, which I'm pretty sure he will up his travel budget. I'm sure he'll probably get a smaller salary or something. He'll be able to race more. Phantom obviously will pay him some more money. Yeah. But I don't think you're going to see that instant, he's going to make like a big salary. Not that all of these guys make a big salary anyway. You probably make more money racing stock, to be honest. But I think he definitely makes a big contingency, and he has to have more consistent wins in both to be better than Fenn, because Fenn's still one of the best racers in the world. To be better than Fenn in 8 scale off-road and 8 scale 8 scale and 10 scale off-road. So he still has a big ladder to climb. He's still young. He's only 16, so he has a lot. He just seems like he's been racing for so long.
Yeah.
Ongaro, on the other hand, also cements his position as probably the #1 driver in Associated right now.
Yeah, for sure. Like I believe they were talking about him coming to a couple more 10 scale events like next year.
So it's going to be interesting to see what happens with that. Congratulations to them both. Let's talk about something else that happened at this race. Was the unveiling of the new Mugen 2-wheel drive buggy. Tell us a little bit about that. I should have had that up in pictures. Let me find it while you talk about it.
It looked similar to one of the platforms out there. It looks
looks like a Losi.
It does look like a Losi car, but a Losi car that has an updated transmission case and a couple other parts.
No, I also saw that Shin was running a 4-wheel drive TLR.
Lots of Mugen parts. He ran it. Yep. When I talked to him when he came down to SDRC, he's like, I'm running Mugen 2-wheel and Losi 4-wheel with Mugen parts. So he had the Mugen shocks and the Mugen rear arms on it. With those rear arms, you can adjust the where the shock mounts. So from side to side, and then going up and down, you can shim it out. So could be potentially a pretty good setup option for the Mugen camp.
Now, do you feel that we will? So there, I guess my question would be, who is going to drive this car for Mugen? Is it going to be Drake? Is it, because he's busy. Are they gonna? Does this mean we're gonna see Mugen hire a driver?
I know.
To do both.
One of their touring car guys, Jacob Cruz, has been talking about running to 10 scale more, and like he's came out a couple times to like SDRC and ran 10 scale. He gets around pretty good, so I think this will kind of motivate him and his dad Mark to come out and run a little more 10 scale than what they were doing.
Here we are looking at some pictures of the Mugen. Oh, I like this. This aluminum insert for the
that's what I was talking about.
Ooh, see, I'm visual. I have to see that. That's different. Does any other 10 scale car have that?
No.
Ooh. So they can run. How do they lengthen the width of the car, of the width of the arms then? Through how? You said they can adjust it.
Well, so not the width of the arms is what I was saying. So they can raise and lower that mount with washers, and then you can flip that thing, I believe, to run the shock farther in.
Oh, that makes sense. That makes a lot of sense. Let's see what else we have here. Here's the layout. So see, that's little things like that make it different, right?
Yeah.
It looks pretty. You know what? Honestly, I've looked at them, but this is the first time I really looked at the pictures. Ooh, they got a front sway bar. You don't see many 2-wheel drives coming with front sway bars nowadays.
The Losi car runs a front sway bar all the time.
Okay.
And that's what,
I was wrong. Interesting. So what is the talk about the 4-wheel drive? Are we going to see one of them soon?
I'm sure we will sooner or later.
I mean, it's only natural, right?
Yeah.
Do you know how long people have been waiting for Mugen to make 10 scale electric cars? So they've been
talking about it for a while. And they talked about it last year. And I remember being at the touring car track, and they were like, yeah, I think that they're going to do it. And then, here we are now, and they did it. So
absolutely. How did it look on the track?
It didn't look bad. It looked pretty good. I think it's a good thing, just getting a little bit more of brand diversity out there instead of, the same, instead of the same 2 brands out there. Just having
the 10 scale market is not saturated like the 8 scale market.
No, yeah.
We have about 3 million chassis companies and more coming in the 8 scale market. And in 10 scale, you have TLR, Associated, Schumacher, X-Ray. That's your main ones. Maybe a Trinkle of Serpent. And obviously PR comes around once in a while.
S-Works stuff, yeah.
Yeah, S-Works too, sorry. But people have been waiting for Mugen to make 10 scale cars since like the early 2000s.
Yeah.
So it's gonna be interesting to see how this works. It's gonna be interesting to see who they hire. I know a lot of people's like, oh, David Ronnefalk's gonna be running it, but I don't see that happening because one, I know that Mugen, the one of the reasons that Mayfield left was because they don't pay too well. So, and they have the Killick brothers. So the Killick brothers will probably be running this as well because they have been doing a lot more 10 scale. But I really like this. I like this a lot.
That's a pretty badass option, I think.
I like that. All right. Before we move on to some questions, tell us a little bit about some of the things you did not like at the Worlds, like organization-wise. What could have been better? I did hear a lot of my European friends messaging me and complaining about it. But the Euros are used to a certain standard compared to a lot of things. So they're always going to complain about what goes on over in the USA.
I think that they did a pretty good job of the event, like overall. The only thing that I wasn't super keen on was I honestly can't think of anything that I didn't like. I was just trying to go around the track half the time anyway, so I wasn't super concerned about what was going on. There's nothing I can really think of that I didn't enjoy about the track. Maybe
how about the organization? I see. I'm privy to a lot of other things. I know there was Jeff Parker was being Jeff Parker. I talked to a couple of my. I know the takeout with Cav was a big thing with a couple of the Schumacher guys, which I think that was the Aiden Horn Cav incident, which shouldn't have been an incident. But I heard that it was, look, my European friends are always going to complain about US events not being run how they want it to be run.
Yeah.
And like I told them, I said, you guys have had years and years of experience of running races properly, and how you want it. So you have to give them a little bit of time. I mean, I think it was from the outside looking in, besides obviously Tiregate, it looked pretty good. I think the facility done a great job. Yeah. I think we had a very memorable Worlds. The coverage was great. We had a lot of coverage there as well. It's good to see companies like Red RC there covering it as well. I was reading their interviews and stuff like that. Well,
I think it was good to have Clayton there. Clayton did a good job of kind of orchestrating and making sure everything didn't go.
Well, I heard he had no choice because IFMAR was not pretty much non-existent.
Yeah, IFMAR wasn't there. The only IFMAR representation there was Jeff Parker.
Yes, and he spent most of his time in a resort, I'm told. I'm not going to ease up on that, man, because he shouldn't even be involved in IFMAR, in my opinion. Yeah, I thought it was good, except the tire thing. It was so many different types of media outlet. I really watched a lot of Mitch on the Mike's content as well. We got that iconic picture of like Nelson. That was probably one of the best pictures.
It was Mason Templeman's car and one of the Aussies.
It was Mitch's car. The same guy.
It was Mitch's car. That's,
so.
That's a pretty good pick. That with Nelson just going
That was awesome. Iconic pick. And we had like, I think we'll talk about this Worlds kind of like the Tebow and Hartson Worlds.
Yeah.
Right. We'll talk about this Worlds for many, many years ago with Tater winning it unexpectedly, Ongaro winning it unexpectedly. And I actually was halfway through, like, even though I enjoyed the races I was at, I wish I would have been there. I really wish I would have been there. And of course, you gave me shit because you're like, how could you be in America and not be at the Worlds? Pretty simple. I went where things pay bills.
I completely understand
that. So I thought it was good. Too bad on your piss poor performance. I think we're going to demote you to Squire now, from Sir Spineless to Squire.
We're going to Hoosier next week to redeem myself.
Is it that at Hoosier?
Huh?
That's at Hoosier, that race that you're going to?
Yeah.
Ooh. And so Matt will be there covering it, right?
Yeah, a lot of guys are going. Again, it's the Worlds without the Europeans, pretty much.
Oh, that facility is so nice. Hoosier, I want to get there one day. I know they have a big race in January too, first week. Are you going there in January?
Yeah.
Ooh.
I believe Lance is usually
He is doing it. He is doing the coverage. I've been asked. I know, but I would have to ask Matt if he wants a commentator or whatever. Maybe I'll just go up there and do my. Honestly, dude, I need a break for a little while, but I haven't even finished my year yet. I still got like 6 more races to go.
Yeah.
Maybe 7. So we'll see how that goes. But I wanted to get to Hoosier. It looks like a great place. Thank you for going there. Congratulations once again to the facility for overcoming the adversity and putting on a good show. Thank you to all the competitors that came over. I love the Worlds. I wish I would have been there. I guess we're gonna have to wait for 2025. Oh, that's gonna be Australia. I probably won't make that one. We'll see. Never say never. And I look forward to Masters of Dirt coming up here.
Yeah.
In a couple
I don't know if we're doing
Guy's a dirt master and hasn't made it to Masters of Dirt. Incredible. I think it was good. Let's wrap it up. Anything else you want to say before we wrap it up?
Larry and the crew, Jake, Matt, Willoughby, Dree, everyone else who was involved with the event did an awesome job. Thank you guys again.
I would agree with you.
I think it, couldn't have gone better with even some of the hiccups that they had. So, hats off to everyone involved, like with the event at Hobby Action, Clayton at Roar. And yeah.
I think Roar's going in a great direction.
Yeah.
Very good direction. So, very well done. Thank you guys for the entertainment. Well done, Davide. Thank you for giving me 6 months of bragging rights. Actually, I'm extending it to a year.
Is it more like 3 because Tater just cut it in half?
No, I'm extending it to a year. America, 1. Europe. If we're going by the Worlds from last year, 2. Oh, shucks. DNC, 2. Mayfield, 1. Ooh, but Marco won Silver State. So, 1 up.
Ruffalo.
We already talked about him leaving so far.
This morning, yeah.
Yes, that was a surprise. I heard he's going to have... Well, I already told you who I think he's going to... I think he's going to WRC. I'm pretty hard that he's going to WRC. I already said it earlier in the podcast when you was invisibly there. You know what, dude? We have some questions that you have to answer because now you're our 10 scale specialist. We don't have that much. I know you're struggling to stay awake. You're like JQ.
No, I know. I saw one of these questions and I know who it's from. So
Oh, okay. We have quite a few questions here. Not that much, but quite a few. That is brought to you by Beach RC.
BeachRC.com, the racers' one-stop online hobby shop. Choose from all the popular brands and variety in stock with super fast shipping and great customer service. BeachRC.com still has the local hobby shop feel with all the benefits of the internet. BeachRC.com is the exclusive distributor for Ultimate Racing, JQ Racing, Pro Circuit Racing Tires, Nitro Lux Fuels, and Assault RC Performance products. So fill up your cart and check out at BeachRC.com today.
Thank you to Beach RC for their continued support. We have an affiliate link that you guys can use in the written description of this podcast. Please use it. It helps us out. Thank you to Brent and everybody. I will see everybody at Masters as well as Fall Brawl coming up later on this year. Also, this is brought to you by Sidewinder Fuel. Morgan Fuel has been collaborating with many of the world's top drivers for over 40 years. This has enabled them to test our fuels in many of the most challenging situations and take development of competition fuels to the next level. The result is Sidewinder, the market's most powerful racing fuel. This fuel has been track tested and proven by national world champions such as Ryan Cavallari, Ryan Mayfield, Greg the Toe Degani, Mark Pavidis, and currently being run by the phenomenal Phenom, who can't be called Phenom because that's already taken by Dakota Fenn, but Vietnamese American driver Phi Long Wing, Little Bump. These drivers appreciate that Sidewinder is blended perfectly for the high performance needs of competitive racing today. Do not let victory slip through your fingers. Purchase Sidewinder right now. And you can find it Sidewinder at your local hobby shop. So contact them if you want to get some as well. Oh, contact me. I'll put you in contact with them. All right. So we have a few questions for you, good buddy. First up from Facebook is How comparable was the World Track to a normal club day at Hobby Action, especially with grip levels in two-wheel drive and four-wheel drive, layout design? What would you do differently knowing what you know after the race?
Not run a different radio before the event. What else? Setup was a little different. We ran softer shock packages and a couple different things. We ran a little more toe than we normally do in two-wheel, just to get a little more grip than what we do on a normal traditional Hobby Action grip style like layout.
Okay. Mark Thomas asked about the Hobby Wing G3 motor. We already explained that in that. But also Kyle Munson wants to know, why is there a need to approve a mod motor? Batteries, I understand from a safety aspect, but motors being a mod class, why does it matter?
I think because some of the guys use the stock blanks in their modified like motors, and some of the stuff that they do in stock isn't legal for modified.
Also, I think it also has to be available.
Yeah, to the public.
Everybody.
Yeah.
Yes. All right. And I think this question comes from, I think the next question comes from Kyosha's number one fanboy, Mike Sorchi. Who makes the best radio? Hashtag too soon.
Sanwa.
You can plead the fifth on that if you want, but you didn't. All right. Yeah. Dallas Hoover wants to know, is there an order of setup changes that you have? So if you felt your car needs to change, what do you try first? Diff fluid, roll center, pill change, or springs? Thanks. Love the show.
Normally, if my car doesn't feel in the track, I'll mess with pills. I'll lower them a bit. Mess with shock oil or springs, and then after that, start messing with camber links and all that fun stuff.
Connie Svensson of House of RC, I would like you to reflect on the fact that the Europeans were strong in four-wheel drive, but Americans rode in two-wheel drive. Also seemed like Associated, as always, was well represented in both finals. Schumacher looked strong in both, and TLR were especially strong in two-wheel drive, even if they have the oldest platform. He would like to hear your opinions on the different brands and what does Mugen bring to the table. Can they actually make a difference?
I know at most events the TLR stuff makes the most amount of grip. So when we did like Reedy Race and all that stuff on the spec tires the first day, the TLR stuff always had a lot of grip compared to the other cars at the time. I still think that it's probably pretty like relevant still that the TLR car makes a decent amount of grip.
Mm-hmm.
They're coming out with options to, give it a little less grip with the longer chassis and stuff like that.
Now, what about the Associated cars and the Schumacher cars compared to the TLR?
The Associated car makes a decent amount of grip. I would say that like this weekend, the TLR car just was good. Like the layout suited it, the tire choice suited it, but the Associated car on most day-to-day normal surfaces is the most versatile, easiest to drive car, I think.
Right, because it does well on carpet and it does well on dirt, right?
Yeah.
How about the Schumacher? How much work do they have to do to get more competitive?
Honestly, it seemed like they're pretty right there. Like Brock TQ'd Nationals in two-wheel. His stuff was good, and then they came back a couple weeks ago and ran their new two-wheel, and everything looked pretty good. So I think that they're right there. I'm not sure what other stuff they plan on tweaking before that car comes out, but they seem to have a lot of stuff figured out already.
Now, we talked about what Mugen brings to the table. We saw some cool bits. Do you think we'll see like a carpet dirt version of that car? Or
I don't think so.
Okay.
I'm sure that they'll include most of the parts that you need to convert from dirt to carpet, or they'll come out with the parts later on.
Also, what about TLR? Is there a new two-wheel drive, four-wheel drive coming for them?
I think the four-wheel drive, they came out with an Elite kit like a year ago or something like that.
Mm-hmm.
So I don't think they plan on coming out with anything new. And two-wheel drive, this would give them more of a reason not to come out with a new car, I would think. They just won the Worlds with the car that they've had for forever.
What is the current platform called for that two-wheel drive?
22 5.0 Elite.
Have they had a 22X yet?
For the 4-wheel.
It was called a 22X.
Yeah, it's a 22X4.
Okay, so they don't use that anymore.
No.
But not in 2-wheel drive.
No. So I don't know what their plans are. They seem to be, everything seems to be going to plan with their stuff. So,
what do you think like a guy like Fenn does after this?
Same thing as always. You just go back to the track and do the best that you can.
I would agree there. Nicholas Paul, he goes, I would like to know how to buy a motor from you, Spleeless Wonder.
We sell motors through One Up Like Racing. We'll have some stuff coming out here soon. I just got a big shipment of motors in from them, and then they'll be for sale hopefully next week. I leave to Hoosier on Wednesday, so I'm waiting on some shims from my supplier, and then you can get them through One Up, or you can send me a motor, and I charge a certain amount to get everything tuned.
Yep, hit him up. Send this man some business. We need to promote his business. Glitch RC. All right, Eric Quartermouse. I hope I said that right. Mouse. When you run prototype parts at an event such as the Worlds, if they aren't working as designed, not suited for your driving style, do you go back to your tried and true or ride it out for testing purposes?
I've never ran prototype parts at a World Championship event. The only time I've ran prototype parts at any event was the Reedy race when I ran for Yokomo. We ran prototype rear hubs for the 4-wheel that allowed us to adjust the hub height. And I got them a week before the race was going on because Shin came down, and I definitely think they were better.
Okay.
So
we have 2 more questions, then we're done. Zachary Kohler, he wants to know, was the TLR team actually running B64 hubs and cast blocks on the cars? How much non-factory parts are you allowed to run at the Worlds?
So it's open, I believe, like CarWise. Yes, I believe the TLR team ran the B6.1, which is the same from the 0.2 to the 0.3 caster block and spindles. I know that they're not allowed to do that after the race, like going forward, because I would like to say, and I'm not quoting like anybody, they have to cut a bunch of stuff to get the front end mod on their car. I'm sure if they would have broken anything during the event, they would have had to sit there with the Dremel and get everything cut.
Okay.
I know steering feel and geometry wise, it's probably a little different, but they were like using that. But I know that they're not going to be very apparent about how to get it to fit and all that stuff.
Oh, of course not. All right. And our last question is from, I guess, one of your SDRC locals, because this was actually in the SDRC chat. Hold on. Let me find it. I just had it. First question by Edward Garcia. Why do you change your car every run?
I wasn't trying to change my car like every run. I couldn't get the feeling I wanted out of it, and I couldn't really feel what was going on with my car the whole time. Anyway, Ed was there. He saw what happened. So
I think it's just giving you some shit.
Yeah.
Anyway, thank you everybody for your questions. We will have Matty G on some more. I hope you do come Masters.
I would like to. It just depends on what I have to do here at home, like for One Up or affording.
You know what? Everybody that wants Matty G to come to Masters of Dirt next month, share this podcast to Beach RC's Facebook page. There we go. And to his Facebook page. And to One Up's Facebook page. Get it going. We want Matty G at Masters of Dirt. Carpet Championships, you're not coming, right?
No, I don't run carpet anymore.
Why? It's the future. I can't wait. I'll be there. That's going to be that's like a Carpet Worlds right there.
Yeah, it is.
And you're going to be at home because you don't like carpet no more. The future. God doesn't want our future. All right, Matty G. Thank you for your time, and I appreciate it. Unfortunately, the Worlds didn't go as you want. Oh, thank you for representing Team Mexico. By the way,
I did. Did you see the picture of me and Davey?
Yes, of course. I shared it. I think you guys need to get a Mexican flag. I think you pissed off some Mexicans, though. I have to let them know that you are of Mexican heritage. You are a Mexican American. You and Davey Bada. But next time, let's get you a flag to share, not just a drawing. Yeah. But you have every right to support Mexico because you are Mexican American. And so is Bada, right?
Mm-hmm.
Right. So good stuff. Very entertaining. Was there any Mexican? There was no Mexican team there. Still, Mexicans number 1 10 scale drivers. You and David Bada. You and David Bada. You know what, buddy? That's enough. We've been going on for an hour and 60 minutes. I thank you for your time.
Yep, no problem.
Good luck at Huser next week as well. I'll be watching that.
Yeah.
Mod will be covering that. Thank you to, you know what? I have to give shout out to Matt. I know that guys worked hard. I know it's very hard to do coverage as well, especially managing a team like that and a lot of pressure being as such a big event as the Worlds. So congratulations to them. I did enjoy the coverage. That part of it was good. They did get some good interviews and stuff as well, walking around. Zach did a really good job of interviewing as well. And it was a long race, right? 10 days being there, so very long race.
You definitely lose track of time and like days at that point. So
of course, yes, very long race. So we thank them for their coverage. Thank you. Check out Glitch RC for your motor needs. Everybody, this guy right here. And thank you to all of the NNRC squad around the world. I am dropping another podcast next week. It's going to be more about the HDGP that I attended. Max will take some of your questions, and we'll have the other Max want to talk about it. Then I'm off to FRCC, hopefully, for their race. That's a quick hop. Leave on a Friday, come back on a Sunday. And yeah, all that good stuff. All that stuff. Thank you to the NNRC patrons and YouTube members. I appreciate you guys' support. You should get early release of this. Shout out to invisiblespeed.net. Don't forget to take advantage of that deal going on. Of course, to High Tech RC for all their continued support. Hefty at Sumpedal USA, Sidewinder Fuel, Hot Race Tires, Mayako, Beach RC, Techno RC, Lugs Racing Tires, Clinic RC, Ignite Design RC, Stacked RC, Donovan RC, RaceCraft USA. There's a lot of RC companies. RaceCraft USA. Shout out to the Florida RC Championships, WRCE Danny Paz. Check out my boy Gene for SJ Racing for your builds. House of RC, RCGP, and of course, SWAT drivers David Runafeldt, Jared Tebow, Robert Batty, and Alexander Bagberg. And now demoted from Sir to Squire, the Spleenless Wonder, the main wonder right there. Go, you know, when you go to Hoosier, you got to make up for that D-man performance.
Oh, don't worry. I hopefully can. You know,
you'll be all right. You've been to Hoosier before. Good luck at that, and have fun. Thank you for your time, dude. Yeah. And we look forward to seeing. I'll be watching Hoosier next week. No, actually, I'll be at a race, so I won't be watching it. I'm lying. I'll watch it when you come and after I come back. Thank you everybody for the time. Lefty, Nitro is the glory. E-Buggy pays the bills. 10 scale builds the skills, I guess.
10 scale builds the skills.
There we go. That's Jason Rona's thing. Builds the skills. Lefty and the Spleenless Wonder. We're out as soon as I find this outro. We are out. Bye, everybody. Have a good weekend. Be safe. Be a great RC ambassador. Have fun. We're out.